Alistair Black returns to WWE on SmackDown on the 25th of April 2025. But whose door will he be knocking on? That's right. Everyone used to want to knock on his door. That's what he was waiting for back in the day. But, well, he's going to come back to WWE. What impact is he going to make? That's the top topic myself and NXT are going to tackle today on the Q&A. But we're going to leave the forum open to you as well with a lot of your questions post WWE WrestleMania. Perhaps Paul Heyman's Dangerous Alliance evolution. The comparisons are already being made on social media. Of course, we've got the likes of The Rock and Triple H, maybe WWE Backlash. NXT, this is a thing that's going on as well. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. But first off, NXT, being a massive Alistair Black fan that you are, he's coming back to WWE. His first feud should be against ...
I mean, why not Jacob Fatu? Yeah, why not? Like, look, if you want an open challenge for Jacob Fatu, why not bring him? The problem is I don't want him to lose. So, see, whoever he's going to come back and face tomorrow, he's going to beat. So I'm just literally sifting through the SmackDown roster now, and I'm like, Shinsuke Nakamura is a possibility, and there's not really a lot of other names on there that could really take a loss to Alistair Black, unless you're looking at like one of the Los Garza boys, or do you know what I mean? Or he's in a tag team of some match. I don't know, man. Like I imagine he's going to have a match. I just don't know who it's against and who's going to lose against. But if you ask me, feud, we're straight in that United States for picture, man. Like this guy was so criminally underused, but just unjustly not pushed to the levels that he got when he was in NXT, man. And I'm super excited that this guy's back. Like, I think there's a wrong to be righted here, and by Mania next year, if this guy isn't in a title picture for WrestleMania next year, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Alistair Black, he didn't get the fair rub the last time he was in WWE on the main roster. Obviously, his best work probably was the matches against Buddy Murphy. Of course, that led to a budding friendship and House of Black stable with Brody King and AEW for the last few years. But it'd be interesting to see how he fits back into the WWE roster. Like you say, Jacob Fatu is the match I want to see. But there's a host of names you can probably go. I mean, the safe bet's probably Santos Escobar. That's the guy that's usually willing to take a few L's at the moment in WWE. It's a safe person to come back into. You imagine Alistair Black would get a good pop as well on return. Perhaps will initially start as a babyface, but you never know. He could be a heel as well. Matches with the likes of LA Knight could certainly be there waiting for him. Could he come for Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes is who he first went for in AEW. Wouldn't that be fun full circle? Cody loses the championship, sees some vulnerability, perhaps maybe wants Cody to fade to black.
I mean, a heel Alistair Black I'm not against, but you know who else I've just seen on the roster who he has great in-ring chemistry with is Andrade from his NXT days. And like, if you want Alistair Black to come back and be in a killer match on his first night back, I mean, dude, his NXT matches with Andrade are very fondly remembered because one, they weren't the main event scene. He was and they were both world champion, but couldn't get the main event, but they were just that good as well.
Absolutely. I believe his debut takeover match was an Andrade match as well, which also was a show stealer in itself. So, yeah, both have great chemistry.
It's Orlando, isn't it?
It might be. It might be.
I think it's the one they've literally just put on YouTube today because I sifted through the card and he faces Andrade because that's also got FTR versus DIY versus AOP. I think it's got Ember Moon versus Asuka, and it's got Bobby Roode versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the NXT Championship.
Definitely worth a watch for those that would like something to do after this podcast. So, yeah, go and make sure to go and check that out. We've got a few comments that have come flying in nice and early. So we'll say some hellos. Kicking Malia is in the house. We'll be talking about the Becky Lynch return. Very short. It's going to kick in there for us. But first off, we have Pierre saying that tomorrow on SmackDown, give him his theme, Roots of All Evil, back.
The music is going to be interesting because obviously he did initially have a second theme ready when he left, but his Roots of Evil one obviously is kind of ingrained in long-term fan memory, and it's a killer song, man. I'd love to see him have it back again. I think he's going to ultimately get a new one, which is a shame. But the other thing as well, is he going to come back as Alistair Black or is he going to be Malachi Black? I'd like to think he comes back as Alistair Black.
I feel so. I mean, obviously, Rusev returned on Monday Night Raw as well, and he wasn't Miro,
It's
he
true.
was Rusev. It's under the banner that we know as WWE fans. So I expect Alistair Black to make the return tomorrow. Like Eric Douglas shout here, although I believe he probably selling an injury at the moment, but the first few packs being Tamatonga. I mean, that could be a lot of fun. I know he was seeing a hand injury after SmackDown this past week, which ruled him out of WrestleMania weekend. Didn't stop Haku from being in attendance, though. But yeah, Tamatonga versus Alistair Black, that could be a fun one.
Yeah, or even Solo Sokola, to be fair. Like, it's all just obviously it's always creative and it's got to be the right thing. But like, I want this guy to be elevated straight away. I don't want him. I don't want to say bumbled, but like I think Rusev's like return in the tag team division seems a bit underwhelming, and I kind of don't want the same thing for Alistair Black. I want bigger and better things for him.
I actually don't think Rusev will be in the tag division. I think it's going to be simply, I'm just going to destroy Alpha Academy and then I'm going to work my way through the ranks. But I think it's just simply sending a message. Look to them as weak links, if you will, but still can send the message because, you know, Otis is, well, he's a meaty boy, isn't he? Our Otis. Yeah. So, yeah, it's probably a good way for him to kick things off. But I totally get on board what you say. As a quick fire then, you've given Jacob Fatu as a different answer. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing it be Cody Rhodes just because it's something different. And you start him in a high profile position as well. And like I said, they have the history in AEW, not that necessarily I think would play off of that, but you get my gist. Yeah, from that case, then I'd have him just guess come back as a heel. You'd have him go as a babyface in that way. And yeah, we both hope he brings his original theme music back. So let's see what happens on SmackDown. Let us know your thoughts, what you want to see in the comments below.
Put him against John Cena.
Oh, straight out
Why
there.
not? You want something fresh? Cody's going to be like, I know he's obviously John Cena's too preoccupied with Randy at the minute, but do you know what I mean? Tease it. I'd like, who's not against seeing Alistair Black against John Cena at some point this year?
I would not be against it. Do you know what match I really want to see? And this is just a final thought. And we need a WWE draft to make this happen. Gunter and Alistair Black.
Gunter. El Grande Americano, I think, is another one that would be an absolute killer.
Would be a great match. I'd say if he faced the Black, he might kick that mask off. We might find out who it is.
Or that, or he just spins it round so it's on back to front.
Have to wait and see. Let us know your thoughts in the comments anyway. We're going to move on now. And this is strictly, this show has been put together because it's your show. We want you to get your questions in. Your answers will be given on the screen. The WrestleMania review, it was so long and it was so much to get through. Raw off the menu as well. We didn't get enough of your comments involved. So this is our way of saying thank you for watching that show. Now it's time for you to take over and have a proper Q&A. So get involved with your comments.
We barely grazed over a Stand and Deliver as well.
I know, man. That was still at the 2-hour mark. So if you want a short 2-minute review of Stand and Deliver, you can check that out, or you can answer some questions, and we might be able to go into some more detail today. Kicking it with Leon House says, I don't understand why Becky and Lyra won the title just for Liv and Raquel to win it back the next night. What was the point? You could have had Becky turn on Lyra at Mania and let Liv retain. Fair point, fair argument. I'm going to let NXT dive in. Let's tag in.
The hot potato tag team reign is the most relevant thing they've done with the women's tag team title or in a year. Like we've just had people holding them titles and we've had nothing remotely interesting. Like let's be honest, it's a B story that they've just given Liv Morgan something. It was like an excuse. It was a way just to get Liv on the WrestleMania card. Doing the hot potato. Look, I'm so intrigued in having a heel Becky Lynch again because we've only ever really seen her as the man, and the man was really a tweener. And I want to see a heel Becky Lynch this time. I want to see a new character arc. And look, we always sit there and like, there's so many tag teams that we sit there and go on for ages that are like, oh, when are they going to turn heel on each other? Kofi and Xavier, for example, like forever, we was like, when are they going to turn heel? I find it quite refreshing that they've done it the next day and it's a heel turn straight away. I think that's great, man. That's now a story arc for Lyra to play out over the next, I don't know, couple of months, however long. And I just think it's going to be interesting to see Becky in general as a heel that isn't the man.
Yeah, absolutely. I can agree with a lot of that. And I think if you look at it as well, like, I mean, I get Leo's point of saying, you know, the hot potato idea, like you say, it's good for the division, but I actually think it helped establish some layers in the relationship with Becky and Lyra, because obviously casual fans that are not NXT fans may not be so aware. They might just go, well, they're Irish, but actually they do have the connection and the history. So for them to come in and have that tag team title match, and obviously Becky needed to get revenge on Liv Morgan for what happened at King and Queen in the ring last year. So this tag team match actually made a lot of sense, where it actually added a storyline to a match that had no story, if that makes sense, going into WrestleMania at the very last minute. All of a sudden you went for a thrown together tag team match. All of a sudden you went, there's something to this now, and like it's kind of fun. You don't have to do anything to get there either.
But that's what I mean. Becky and Lyra they've got history, so it's not like putting them together. It doesn't even make sense. I mean, like I said, the only kicker with it is they made Bayley and Lyra go for a whole gauntlet match to then take Bayley out of the match. I think that's the biggest criminal justice about it, is that Bayley was taken off the WrestleMania card. But look, they're making them tag team titles relevant again. Well, they did for about 2 days. Like I said, it's the most interesting thing I've seen them do with them titles in a year.
Absolutely. And the thing is as well, yes, against the hot potato, one wins the title, but then Becky and Lyra have that moment together. It's established, like, oh, we know we're together, we're friends and all the rest of it. They lose it on the next night, and then boom, obviously, yes, they have the turn at that point. But it's to establish, let's say, Becky then with the Lyra, but also for Liv and Raquel, they have this thing going on now. And I noticed that Raquel's been doing this in interviews as well. Like, we're the greatest women's tag team of all time. Look how many times we've held the titles. Now, for some people, it's how many times you've held the titles. For some people, it's what you do with the titles. But no one can argue that when these two are actually at the moment 4-time women's tag team champions, no one's come close to that. So they know how to win that gold. So I think that's what's made them established at this particular time, and it works for them as well. And it kind of as well arguably gives Liv that win back over Becky again. So technically, even though Becky got some revenge back, ultimately Liv wins the feud, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't like if you have Liv and Raquel win them titles back straight away. I don't think they've lost any momentum. I think they're still strong. Like, it just proves if they either lost them and then don't win them again for 6 months to a year, then yeah, sure, probably there is a point, like a disappointment to it. But the fact that they win them back straight away just proves that they are a dominant tag team. And ultimately, whoever is going to take the titles off them the next time is going to be like more. It's going to be more of a. More of a satisfaction, whoever the babyface team is that takes them titles off of them eventually, because they are established as, at the minute, the best women's tag team.
Absolutely, they certainly are indeed. Well, we've got some suggestions then on who should be going against Alistair Black, who that first feud should be. King William says, I think he'll face Carmelo Hayes. Rachel Ann actually agrees with the idea of Carmelo Hayes as well. Personally, think that's an awesome suggestion.
It is, but the problem is they're doing that Miz don't miss tag team rubbish, shouldn't they? And I don't want Carmelo Hayes in a tag team with the Miz, but look, they're doing something to get him on telly. I wouldn't be against it. I just think his creative is elsewhere at the minute.
Although he did just win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, so hopefully some form of push after WrestleMania might come his way. But maybe we all know that's all too familiar.
That's paid off well for recent winners, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Bronson Reed's probably not done too bad with it, but yeah, I do.
He's injured.
He's injured. Can't blame creative on that one. He was getting more than lukewarm before that happened. But Damian Priest has been suggested. Finn Balor versus Alistair Black. Now we're talking. I like the sound of that as well.
Black as a replacement for the Judgment Day, as a replacement for Finn in the Judgment Day. I wouldn't be against that.
Would not be against it. That could be quite interesting indeed. El Juggalo in the house says, whoop, whoop, good to have you in the house. And suggestions from the Joker not being happy with what played out with the Becky, Lyra, Liv and Raquel. So just basically the worst part is that Bliss and Cross have been ignored. I don't know what's been going on with Alexa Bliss currently in WWE.
Bliss has been out since Rumble, and it's kind of like since the Chamber, and they've not done anything with her.
It's weird. It's really weird. I know that the other, I think it's Uncle Howdy injured of the White Six, but
that's why it's taken off.
Then we'll see what happens after that. Fingers crossed it will come along another point. Leo says, I want Liv versus Becky at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental Championship, or they put it on Liv on SmackDown and she defeats Tiffany Stratton. I have a feeling Liv is going to be going to SmackDown, unless Tiffany's coming to Raw, but I don't know if they're going to swap champions this year. They didn't last year, so I'm going to assume they're not going to change the champions. So if I had to predict with the draft right now, I can see Liv going to SmackDown personally if I had the choice of the two.
I mean, regardless, they're tag team champions. They go any show they want, so it doesn't really matter at the minute. Like even when they're drafted, if they're still tag champs, it don't mean squat.
That's true. She could be doing both. You never know. You have to wait.
Doing triple jobs. Do you know what I mean? She'll be working 3 times a week.
I mean, she was on NXT this week as well. So very busy girl, Liv Morgan, at the moment, coming out of WrestleMania. Your thoughts of NXT this week? Obviously, the fallout of Stand and Deliver. Obviously, it looks like Stephanie Vaca certainly got a couple of customers that are keeping an eye on her. Obviously, Jordan Grace and Julia at the end of the show.
Yeah. Obviously, Joe Hendry popping up as well, making his like, I don't know what they're planning on doing with him and Obafemi, but that's going to be interesting to see. Ethan Page as well. I'm sure wasn't Ethan Page on there? I can't remember. Like I remember watching NXT, but I don't actually remember what happened on it. I know Javon and what. Yeah, Noam Dar came back. He won the Heritage Cup from Lexus King, and I think Lexus King or Noam Dar is going to face Ricky Saints for the North American Championship. Get rid of the Heritage Cup, please. Just change it to the European Championship. Just have done with it.
That's what I want to see. Certainly what I want to see. I've got to say, we have probably our new favorite username in the chat for us right now. El Grande Briticano.
Love it. My second favorite luchador wrestler now.
Absolutely, yeah. Gracias, and thank you for you as well. Let us know your picks then of who you want to see face Alistair Black. You can ask any question related to WWE in the meantime. But in the meantime, I'm going to turn things over to one Mr. Paul Heyman. Speaking of a dangerous alliance, we've got one right next to me. NXT and myself going to be teaming up for this one. What do you feel then with this Dangerous Alliance faction? Because of the fact that some have made that comparison, as it was Paul Heyman's stable in WCW in 1992. The likes of Stunning Steve Austin was a part of that. Brian Pillman as well, of course. Larry Zbyszko was there as well for the infamous War Games match. But obviously, some people, more modern fans, I say modern fans, 20 years ago at least, have compared the lineup of Seth Rollins, Bron Breakker, and Paul Heyman to Evolution 2.0, suggesting that Seth could be the Triple H. Maybe Paul Heyman is the Ric Flair. We've got Bron Breakker, who is the Dave Bautista. We're just missing a new Randy Orton. Could Austin Theory be a suitable candidate to fit that role, or would you have someone else on the roster?
I would have said Bron was the Batista, if honest. And I think, no, sorry. Yeah, it's been a long day. Look, man, I would want nothing more than Austin Theory to do something relative and just be on TV doing something else than being Grayson Waller's sidekick at the minute, because they have no direction at the minute. So I wouldn't be against it. The problem you're gonna have is it has to be like, I was talking to Jonesy and he was on about how do I feel about Becky Lynch joining this faction, and I turned around and went, the same reason what I said earlier. The problem you've got with putting Becky in this faction is that the last time they put her and Seth together, Seth was in her shadow the whole time. And Becky's almost like, you want to bring in a Marina Shafir in the Death Riders. You want a female that may not be the best on the mic, but like is solid in ring, like a Zoe Stark or a Shayna Baszler. Do you know what I mean? You want someone in there to be part of that faction. And as much as Austin Theory likes to go, going back to your original point, I'd go with Austin Theory. I don't know, because he already has the mic work done, and I think like if it's not Seth and it's not Paul running the microphone, Bron's not really going to be doing a lot of promo work, I can tell. So I think you'd really want someone in there that's just in there to be a mid-card guy almost. But look, I wouldn't be against Austin Theory. I think that's a good way for him to repackage, redesign himself. But dude, if you like, we've just talked about Carmelo Hayes a minute ago. Put Carmelo Hayes in there. You want to give Carmelo Hayes some direction? Make him a Paul Heyman guy. There's a plethora of guys on there that could easily be Paul Heyman guys. It's just who fits the narrative going forward. And I don't know. I personally don't think we're going to get any bigger than these three at the minute. I think that if they're going to bring someone in, it's going to be much later down the line. Like a Roman used to bring someone in for the bloodline every time. It'd be at certain points, like You know, when Solo debuted, it was a Clash at the Castle. It'll be that kind of thing with this faction as well. I think if they bring any more new members in, we're gonna have to wait for those moments. Like Backlash, I think will probably be when we get the next one, if there is another one.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I mean, that's how the Judgment Day started as well. It was like one came in every pay-per-view. It was like Edge and Priest, then Rhea came in, then Finn came in a couple of months later. So totally get it. Love the point from Leo, though, that spoke about Austin Theory joining this group as well. They have history being in a faction together as well. Remember the Monday Night Messiah group that Seth had going? I'm sure Theory is part of that as well. But yeah, the history there also was actually with Paul Heyman and Evolve. Remember, Heyman was there at that last Evolve show saying that Austin Theory was the future of this industry and really bigged him up. So it's kind of the same thing with Braun Breaker. Bigged him up in NXT, was actually a part of it in his corner for a match against Carmelo Hayes. So there is actually some history there, which will make it make a lot of sense. I start to like the actually like the Evolution comparisons more than I actually like the Dangerous Alliance ones.
Look, yeah, that's probably like I'm not a big, like I was never a big WCW guy. So Deadly Alliance is a bit like I never watched it really, so I couldn't really tell you. Whereas, do you know what I mean, more of like the Judgment Day or whatever, I think is much more of a better reference. And I don't know, I personally don't know how well the Deadly Alliance fared on TV. I don't know if it was a success or not. So to me, it's kind of a bit of a niche comment or subject, because I'm like, you're better off telling me how well they did on TV. Obviously, Steve Austin goes on to become Steve Austin, so, you know, it works out well for him. So, but Larry Zbyszko, I think, was a little bit past his prime in 92, 93.
Yeah, he was past his prime. Brian Pillman and Stunning Steve were going to become just a tag team.
Blondes, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Blondes into 93. Once they left that group, I think Arn Anderson was part of that group as well. So they had some deadly hitters in there. The things with the Dangerous Alliance, they were like the top heel stable in 1992. It was like Heyman's turn to have a go, being like a top manager when he'd sort of been like with the mid carders up to that point, probably in the late 80s, early 90s. And yeah, they got the War Games match against Team Sting, and of course, naturally, it's 1992. The baby faces win. Spoiler alert. I'm sure people won't mind learning the results that happened 33 years ago. But yeah, at the same time, it's a fun watch, and it's a unique time period as well. Pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Rick Rude actually was a part of that group as well. But if anyone does remember, let me know.
Part of every faction.
He was, yeah. He's the only person to be on be a part of DX and NW on the same night on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, good times. Exactly. But speaking of this faction, then with Paul Heyman and what we have with Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, we've got to Extreme Core Wrestling saying Austin Theory. How about a call up for Nathan Frazier? Could be quite good. I don't want to see Fraxian break up personally, but I see the link there of Frazier with Rollins, so that would be kind of cool. It would be an interesting way to bring Frazier up as well.
Trick Williams would be a great one for this faction. Saying there's so many people. I mean, there's so many people that could easily fit into that spot. And if you want to bring up an NXT guy, even Ethan Page, how good would Ethan Page be in this faction? Because he can talk on the mic. He look like, you know what I mean, you put him in a 3-piece suit, he looks fantastic. I mean, I was watching his vlog from WrestleMania weekend, and the stick he was giving the fans, just great, proper like old school heel stuff. Like, even if you're not in the ring, like out with the common people, he's still a heel, man. I loved it, man. Like, there's so many people, but I'm the same as you. I don't want Fraction to break up. I think if they break up, they get lost in catering somewhere, unfortunately. And I think that like they've been the best tag team in the last year, so I really want them to stay together.
Absolutely. El Grande Britannicano says Becky Lynch is the third man. Wink. I like what you did there. Tom Talks Rubbish and I hope you're doing well. My friend says, would it be mad if with Ricky Saints with Steph and Heyman? Speaking of an NXT call up, that would be, although North American champion currently, it certainly would fit the build. Well, you talk about a good talker, someone that would actually fit the suit, fit the build. Ricky Saints would be someone that would be pretty cool for the spot.
Yeah, I want him to dominate NXT, though. I want him to be NXT champion. I want him to have a run and kind of make NXT his own for the next 12 months.
Same as well, but I would say, though, if, you know, the reason he's in NXT, allegedly, I'm going to go allegedly, is the fact that it was close to WrestleMania and they didn't have plans on the main roster for him because it was all set for Mania. So that's why he went to NXT. So they now want to put him now up because now Mania's finished. It's a great way to bring him in. Wouldn't be against it.
Have they actually said when the draft is going to be at all? Not even rumored as to when it is.
Not yet, no. I was expecting they could have done it on Raw this week, but I think SmackDown is certainly a show tomorrow to keep an eye out for, just purely because of the fact that SmackDown usually is where they get the first round of draft picks. However, this year
Yeah,
it's Netflix, isn't it? And the USA Network. So I don't know if the USA Network will get the first round of draft picks now, but it kind of makes sense for the WWE calendar because you get it on the Friday, you get the weekend to get over it, and then it's the Monday. It's a
yeah.
closer period than Monday to Friday. So I personally think SmackDown should still get it, but we'll see. If it's not announced this tomorrow on SmackDown, next Raw or two, I think we'll start hearing about the draft because it usually takes place in April now, and probably, I'd imagine it'd probably be before Backlash.
If anything, I'd probably wait till after Backlash. I think they get the pay-per-view out the way first because there's no point drafting people if they're going to have title matches. Like, because if anything, it'll almost foreshadow who wins certain matches. If you know that, for instance, say they was to do Randy versus Cena, and you know one of them's going to be on Raw, one of them's going to be on SmackDown, you kind of know that if Jay isn't moving from Raw, that Cena's going to win it. So there's no point. So I think they'd wait until probably after Backlash.
It's usually the curse of one PLE every year. So Backlash could be the one. If not, it's Money in the Bank. We'll have to wait and see what they will do. But Marcel and House, thank you, Marcel, for joining us. Hope you are doing well. Let's move on to another comment then. And actually going to move on slightly to a different topic just at the moment. Leo asking us, if you had to book what Liv and Seth do at Mania next year, what would that be? I think I know what you would do for Seth.
Easy CM Punk main event night 2 for the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship, either one, just a title belt. That is my prediction for night 2 WrestleMania next year. For me, Liv wins the Women's Rumble next year and goes on to WrestleMania for a women's title. I think Liv is so desperate for a Royal Rumble win that she has to be in a world title scene for Rumble next year.
I'm in total agreement with both, especially the idea that CM Punk gets his win back at WrestleMania. That would be what I would see with him and Seth,
Yep.
Especially now with the idea that Seth is the top person. I think we do Seth versus Roman at SummerSlam, if I had to predict that early right now. As for Liv, I agree with you with the Rumble because she's massively over with most of the audiences, but obviously she's got a history of having big wins in Saudi, obviously, winning the Crown Jewel Championship
in the Rumble
last year. She's come second in the Rumble multiple times. So, let's take her from the bridesmaid, make her to the bride. And I mean, if you've got on one side, you've got Bianca
Pick
and
an
Rhea.
opponent. That's the hardest question.
That is the harder question of who that opponent
Liv
would
Tiffany?
be. But again, I've got it for SummerSlam in my head. I'm giving away my SummerSlam match card predicted way too early, a bit too early. I've got Tiffany Liv for SummerSlam at the minute in my head.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'm not be against that. I'm just trying to think. Like, obviously, they could still do it again. Like WrestleMania is a year away, but I don't know. Maybe they get the opportunity to build someone else up. Maybe they call up someone. I mean, dude, I wouldn't be against Stephanie Figueroa against Liv Morgan for WrestleMania next year.
I like that shout. That's a really good shout. I'll say Charlotte Flair just because she's always in and around the championship picture scene. Don't hit the dislike button. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. That's the one that we really want you to hit. And let us know as well, who do you want Alistair Black to feud with? You've heard our opinions at the start of the video. Now it's time to get your comments in and we get your takes in the comment section. Kick Leo says, should Javon Evans defeat Oba for the NXT Championship? My answer is going to be no on that one.
At the minute, yeah, I'd say no. I think creatively wise, it's Trick Williams. That's the problem. If you can make it creatively possible for Javon to beat Oba, sure, why not? I just think at the minute, Trick Williams is the focus.
Yeah, I would say Trick Williams is the focus. I just feel Oba, though, in general, I think he needs to lose this in a multi-man match. I just don't see anyone realistically able to beat Oba Femi at this particular time. I know Tony D'Angelo did it for the North American Championship last year, but it felt like a massive fluke when that happened.
But then again, I wouldn't be against seeing him do it again because I think it's the one title Tony D'Angelo hasn't won, and I think if you use it narratively, you could do it again. I think because a lot of people wouldn't expect him to beat him twice for a different title, and then almost like when Oba then comes up to main roster, if they do bring Tony D'Angelo up at some point in the future, you have a history there where every time you've been a champion, I've beaten you, so I can take that title off of you again.
Absolutely, yeah. Now you bang on the money. We'll have to see if it would happen. I personally wouldn't choose, as I mentioned there, but time will tell if that would be the selection. We have got a comment in from Tom Talks Rubbish, wants to know our Twitter handles so we can actually communicate, so we can get on Tom Talks Rubbish. Mine is underneath my chin at SCW_Steve. You'll see it there for you in the black text. NXT.
Mine.
Throwing yours in there.
Yeah, it's at Silky16, SILLKY16. It's my gamer tag on from my Xbox days that I never use anymore, so let's just use that.
I've actually just put it in the comment section now for you, Tom, as well, so you can just see that there for you. So, yeah, hopefully it makes it a bit easier for you. We look forward as well for hearing from you, because I'd like to be on the show. It'd be a lot of fun. Master says, who do you think will win Money in the Bank? Master's gone for Braun Breaker and Roxanne Perez, and that's two very good shouts for Money in the Bank this year. Who would you go for at this present time?
The problem is whoever champions are. Roxanne Perez is a great shout, by the way, for the women's one. I think that's probably the best bet at the minute. The men's one, especially with Seth and John being champions, you're either looking at someone like Cody winning it, which I don't really want, but it is ultimately an option. But why not, man? Alistair Black. I'll say Alistair Black wins Money in the Bank.
I like it. That's a good shout. And it'd be a good way to bring him in and bring him back as well, wouldn't it? For me, I would say, I think Braun Breaker's a fantastic shout. So we can cash it in on the Triple R champion. That's what
exactly Triple Mania, 100%.
100%. For me, I'm going to go and say that I think Drew McIntyre might win it again. And I think this time
probably the best shout.
He'll probably then win it. LA Knight is another name that I want to see do it. I really don't want it to be Logan Paul, but I do fear they're going to do that one year. They're going to get him in a World Championship match somewhere, aren't they? For the women,
the problem with LA Knight quickly is that every year we want him to win it, but he's never in a strong booking position to win it, and that's ultimately the problem. Don't get me wrong, as a left wing wild card, 100%, but he's just never in the strongest place in booking terms to win it.
Yeah, it's true. He's never in the strongest booking terms, but we'd love to see him get an opportunity to go for a top title. That would be a lot of fun. Dirty Dominic Mysterio would have been a lot of fun a year or two ago, but now everyone cheers him. Dirty Dom. We'll see what happens there. Penta would be fun, by the way. Just to throw something a bit different out there. Penta or Money in the Bank could be interesting as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be against it. It's the typical WWE booking, though. It's the promo section that obviously he doesn't have the best English. It's very broken Spanish, I believe, because he's from South America, and that's the whole problem. Is like the transition. Like everyone who has ever where English is their second language has always suffered. So again, it'd be a great shout. It's just obviously when you get to that point of booking that title match, it's really hard to do with someone who doesn't speak English as a first language.
Yeah, totally understand that. The thing is, he has the zero fear, but he could put fear in his opponents by holding the briefcase.
Very true.
That's very cheesy, isn't it?
With a custom briefcase.
Absolutely, with a Cero Miedo. I think that could be really, really cool. And like the money part, the O can be just like that part where you have like the fear part. Or the M is just through that as well. Yeah, I don't know. There's things you can do that. You can play with it. Yeah. So it wouldn't be too bad.
If you use the right hand, that's M and then O.
Yeah, absolutely, exactly. So then you just have to put the NEY. Anyway, yeah, for the female, I do find this quite hard, really. Roxanne Perez is a great shout, but obviously I feel like someone established might win the women's one this year. Like, we still see current champions Io Sky and Tiffany Stratton. So it's kind of like, would it be a Bianca Belair? You know what I mean? Like those sort of people I could see, especially if Belair becomes like a full-on heel, then that certainly would work in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I'm expecting it to be Liv, Rhea, Bianca, Lyra probably, Bailey. It's going to be a stacked card for the women's one this year.
It certainly is. It sounds very exciting already. Leo says Royal Rumble 2026 winners, Liv Morgan and Sami Zayn. I think that's two we've had earmarked down as early favourites for winning.
Yeah, I would have said Sami if KO was fit and KO was champion for Mania was my early prediction. Now I'm not so sure if KO is fit by then, 100% I'd go with Sami.
Absolutely. The only thing is that it's not going to be CM Punk. I think he wins the Chamber next year.
Yeah.
It's weird how we can predict this far in advance of what we think is going to happen.
Well, we can never guess.
Exactly. You never know. We might timestamp this in a year from now. Eric says Liv needs the IC titles. Her and Dom can match. That would be a lot
Great
of
shout.
fun. It's a really good
That would
shout,
be.
Eric. Because I've never seen something like that before. Because the mid card titles are new, so to have matching mid card championships, they could have a lot of fun with that.
We fantasy booked Andrade and Charlotte when they were still married, being that power couple with the US title. So it's the very same thing. But yeah, that's actually the really good shout. Like a his and hers Intercontinental Championship belts. That would be so good.
It's a couple that's definitely got a chance of lasting though, Liv and Dom, don't you think?
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely. If you enjoyed the video so far, hit the like button, share with a friend, subscribe as well. If you've got any more questions, do let us know. Just quickly, going to ask you about WWE Backlash. Do you feel it's nailed on then? John Cena versus Randy Orton. Randy's on the poster, gave the RKO to Cena on Monday Night Raw. Obviously, Cena has so many appearances, but with this being in St. Louis, feels like it would be the perfect place if you're going to do a Randy versus Cena match one more time. And of course, Randy being the face for once, and maybe Cena being the heel, would be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they don't do, I don't know if you remember the match when they did Orton versus Cena before. I think Orton was champion, and Orton just punched the ref and got himself DQ'd. As long as Cena doesn't do the same thing now, he's the heel. Like, you don't want to do that in your main event of a Backlash pay-per-view, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty much nailed on. The guy, why would you put the guy on the poster if he's not going to be on the show? So it's pretty much nailed on. I saw the ticket prices. Apparently, front row are going for $7,000 at Backlash, 7,000 euros for
What?
Backlash. It's a combo ticket, so it's front row for Backlash and Raw. It's like 7,000 something euros. That's ridiculous.
It's more than a month's rent, I can tell you.
Yeah, that's like more. That's nearly a year's wage for some people. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. And I saw, what did I see as well online? Someone sent me. Oh, it's not someone sent me. I was just on like Twitter or TikTok or whatever, and I saw a picture of the cheap seats from Mania, which were $400, by the way, and they look like ants. And I'm like, that is ridiculous. How much is it? Did you see the viral clip of Randy reacting to how much someone paid for lower bowl tickets for Mania? Someone saw Randy in the hotel with his wife, and they asked him for a photo. And I think they bring up the subject of ticket prices, and Randy goes, "Oh, how much did you pay?" And the woman who's asking for the photo, she says, "We paid $5,000." And he was like, "What?" And even Randy seemed outraged and disgusted by the prices. And like, she was like, "Oh yeah, it's lower bowl. It's not even on the floor." And he's like, "That's insane."
It's going into, my opinion, it's going in the wrong direction. Like, look, of course, if you've got the business and people are willing to spend the money, WWE will continue to do it. What's the excuse for them not to? However, I just feel you could be pricing your fans out of this long term. There will come a cut-off point where they will stop selling out. Then they will have to lower prices a bit. They need to then find the mark, which is going to work. But
don't worry about it. If it doesn't sell out, they'll just bring back The Rock to sell the rest of the tickets.
Whose soul will he come for next?
It could be worse as well. You could spend $50,000 on a front row ticket for WrestleMania and nearly get run over by Stone Cold Steve Austin on an ATV.
That's very true. That's very true.
$50,000.
Promise I didn't laugh. Johnny in the house, thank you for joining us. Johnny Saxes, is Alistair Black coming back as a heel or as a face? I mean, obviously, we gave our suggestions of feuds we want earlier on, but categorically, do you think heel or face for Alistair Black on his return to WWE?
I think heel. We've seen him as a face. I think if they do it properly, they can get really good top heel out of him.
I mean,
but then John's top heel, so that's the only problem.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, you don't always have to be the top heel. You can be the understudy. You know, you can work your way up because John Cena won't be around for too long. He's only going to be there to the end of the year. Then he'll be off. So then the spot becomes open. I'm going to say face just because of the fact, even though I'd like him to come in as a heel, he's going to get the pop. He's going to get a reaction. So unless he gets like the big reaction and then he does basically what Rusev done on Raw, which is like, yeah, look at me, I'm back. Oh, by the way, hi Alpha Academy. boosh in the face. Not that we care about Alpha Academy. We would have still cheered, I think, for that. But you get my drift. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow on SmackDown. But I think face, NXT says heel. But if we got our fantasy booking ideas, you've gone with Jacob Fatu, which would make him a face. I've gone with Cody, which would make him a heel.
Yeah, so yeah, we completely waffle this and make this up as we go along. I think sometimes, like I forget what I said 5 minutes ago, but yeah, look, man, it'll be great to just see him back in general. Anyway, like I'm genuinely actually looking forward to SmackDown for his return.
Same. The thing is, the feel you say with the waffle, there, it's like there's what I want and what I think will happen, and those are the two different things. So what I want heel, but I think it'll be face initially for the beginning. Johnny goes on to say as well, Black better not win Money in the Bank. It better be Chad Gable. I mean, to be fair, Chad Gable's not doing a lot in WWE right now. You know, it's like he's being hidden away under a mask or something. But I'd like to see him do think a bit more.
Definitely. I mean, look, he's ultimately being replaced by the better wrestler in El Grande Americano. That's why he didn't get onto the Mania card. Like, El Grande is the superior wrestler. He is El number one. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just waiting for the merchandise, and I will be buying myself an El Grande Americano t-shirt.
Literally, it's going to replace everything in the background. Even Adam Cole might go missing in that room. It'd just be all El Grande Americano in the next 2 months.
The Mattel figure, I'm waiting for the pre-order to come up.
Hopefully, it's not going to cost as much as it is to go and see WrestleMania. Moreau in the house, thank you for joining. Says Rhea Ripley Women's Championship Backlash versus Io Sky, suggesting that we could get a match between those two at that show. I would be very much up for seeing them wrestle again. They've had some great matches in the past. Would you be up for seeing Ripley versus Sky again at Backlash?
Yes, but it's the dynamic again because they're both technically baby faces. So I presume that Bianca ultimately would probably end up costing Rhea the title because I think ultimately we want to heal Bianca. I think that's the important story narrative that we have to get to. So I think we could get that match, but ultimately I think it ends in a no contest or a screwy finish where Bianca ends up costing Rhea.
She could do it again. We've seen that story play out so much. I would say I'd like them to have a full-on one-on-one match if they do it again. But of course, like you say, we didn't really see anything with Ripley or Belair so much on Raw, unless my memory escapes me. But I don't remember seeing it. So.
Belair saves. Doesn't Rhea save Io from a beatdown from someone?
Yeah, but we didn't see Belair, so she's obviously going to go back to SmackDown now for the time being. So hopefully,
Rhea touched the title, so that normally means if you touch the title, you're going to get a rematch at some point.
So it could be under something there. We're looking forward to see how that will play out. Leo says Finn Bella for Money in the Bank, and for the women, going to go with Naomi. Now, that's a great show. Yeah, I wish.
I wish for Finn Bella.
I mean, Balor needs it. Naomi needs it as well. But both are doing good work. I mean, I'm loving the character work for Naomi right now. So it would be good to see. I feel like now that she lost at Mania, it's going to be very interesting to see her storytelling going forward over the next 2 weeks in WWE.
I think she needs a win back over Jade before they do the draft to get some momentum going. So in that way, when they get separated, that she'll have momentum to go for, be like top mid-card heel for IC or US title.
Certainly, I think there's some way she needs to slot in after the WWE draft. I would agree with that. Johnny says Cody wins the Rumble, feuds with Orton at Mania. Thinks Orton will be champion by then. We need a Cody versus Orton feud at some point. I would quite like to see it.
I actually think that's probably a match more for the Rumble. I think that as much as Randy Orton is having the year of his life, and they do have a history. Like this is what I said to you before when we talked about Mania. Whatever Cody is doing kind of has to be elevated from the previous year. So unless they can do it narratively with story, sure, why not do a Cody versus Randy? But like we've gone from Bloodline versus Cody versus John Cena. Depending on where Cody is in the title scene, that's ultimately going to be the thing. If he's champion, they've got to build to something bigger than facing John Cena at WrestleMania.
It's going to be interesting. We're very, very fascinated where Cody's going to go next. He's had a very rough weekend, obviously losing the title after a year, and where he slots back in is going to be fascinating because obviously it clearly looks like we're not immediately going for Cody back after Cena. So he's obviously going for go in sort of like the upper mid card range until at minimum SummerSlam. So let's see where it goes. And yeah, I can see him doing another Rumble win at some point. He is the golden child right now. I would want to see the feud with Randy at some point.
Someone's got to break that Austin record at some point, don't they, for Rumble wins?
Cody would be the right guy right now. The rest of one's going to die unless another Vince McMahon comes in the picture, says Johnny.
I don't know what that means.
I think more or less at this point, WWE is taking over everything. And obviously, right now, it's hard for other companies to compete. So I think that goes off based off a comment we had above, which I cannot find right now. But yeah,
I had no rough context for that. I was like, I didn't know what that's supposed to mean. But look, man, the WWE need to sort their creative team out, and they just need to leave Triple H alone with the book. Because The Rock coming in is like, they say Triple H ruined WrestleMania. I think The Rock ruined WrestleMania personally. And I don't think WrestleMania was that bad. I just think the main event was lackluster. That was all, really.
Certainly. I mean, obviously, going off those comments from the Pat McAfee show, The Rock was told not to get involved in WrestleMania 41, so he didn't get injured and he could film movies, says Paul. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's part of it, but
I saw a TikTok video today where The Rock contradicts himself. So he does the Pat McAfee show and says, "Oh, they didn't need me for WrestleMania 41," but yet someone brings up him replying to an Instagram comment where he was like, someone says, "Oh, you're not doing WrestleMania 41, say it ain't so," and The Rock's like, "No, I don't believe that crap." And it's like, dude, you're contradicting yourself here. So someone's making up lies, and if one guy is telling me this two different sides of a story, I have to believe it's that guy telling me two different sides of a story. But look, man, I said it when we did the Mania review. Just keep Rock out of it now. Look, they brought him in for Chamber because ticket sales weren't doing well, and it was like they were about 4,000 tickets away from selling out with a week to go. And I'm like, that's a joke, man.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, The Rock, I was not a fan of the way he's come out because it felt like I don't usually agree with Dave Ligero of Busted Open. He usually has rants that I think is not healthy. Let's just put it that way. He seems to go very red in the face very quickly, but I do agree with the idea that Triple H felt a bit thrown under the bus with The Rock's comments of like, well, I would have tweeted and done things differently and this, that, and the other. And it's all right for Rock to say that after the situation. Of course, he's Team Camp WWE. He should have had his thoughts and saying this, but instead he's come out and said stuff along the lines of, well, I've done my part here. I don't need to be a part of this anymore, and I'm leaving it to you guys. But effectively, once you do that, you've entered the story, and people expect you to be there when the payoff is there. And then they get Travis Scott, and I think people were a bit disappointed with
that. Just a tiny bit disappointed with Travis Scott. Like the fact the guy gets an entrance as well, like halfway through the match, is a joke.
Absolutely.
There's wrestlers. Look, I'm gonna just say this: like, you look at Karrion Kross's promo from the show after Raw, show after Mania, whatever it was, with Mega Morant and and I forget the other guy's name. Kross puts on this passionate, just like promo that turns around and says, "Look, I'm from Vegas, and they didn't bother giving me the Randy match." Like he says, like he's happy for Joe. But he's from Vegas. He makes the most sense, and a loss to Randy at WrestleMania doesn't do him no harm. So I really want that guy to excel this year. Like apparently his contract's up in September. I hope it isn't, and he's still going to be there because I really want to see this be the year of Karrion Kross.
I would love to see it as well. I think Karrion Kross is awesome at what he's doing right now. I would like to see him get a renewed mega push in some description. But I have to just ask a random question for you because we mentioned it here. Travis Scott came in conversation. We've talked about John Cena, how Travis helped him win at WrestleMania. Do we see a celebrity tag team match at some point later this year? Travis Scott and John Cena as a team?
Hope not. It probably will happen. Am I going to care for it? Absolutely not. The only way I'm going to care for it is if Travis Scott gets 7 bells kicked out of him, because the guy's already shown me, like we've already seen it. He's given Cody a black eye and a burst eardrum. That if you can't throw a kayfabe punch, you shouldn't be in the ring.
Fair. I'd be interested to see. Say it was against Cody and a partner of Cody's choosing. If there'd be a celebrity that Cody would choose, who that would be?
Who's that British bodybuilder?
You got me.
Let me find it. Hang on. There's a look. The guy's just like a brick house, and I'm like, I just want someone that will easily tower over Travis Scott and then just throw him out the ring and leave him. Carry on, man, and I'll find it.
It's not even music beef. It's just finding someone legitimate. We will not have Fiend playing at WrestleMania anymore. Roy asking the question, do you think WWE will buy out Joe Hendry's TNA contract? I actually think WWE are going to buy TNA. That's what I really think is going to happen.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I would actually. But we'll keep an eye. I think Joe Hendry is competing at Rebellion this Friday, I want to say. So tomorrow. So yeah, he's defending the TNA World Championship. So if he retains that title, that would suggest to me that that contract's not going to be bought out anytime soon. If Hendry loses the title, well, that could then perhaps maybe throw some more fuel onto the fire and add to that speculation. Johnny says he just subscribed. Hit the like. You guys are pretty cool and give out good vibes. Thank you very much, Johnny. It's very kind of you, and happy you subscribed. And look forward, hopefully, seeing more Q&As in the future. We do quite a few live streams on this channel, so yeah, and we've got previous history of WrestleMania as well. If you want to check out our review, Jesus, the dude's a big
Eddie Hall. He is a man tank. I want him versus Travis Scott. He is an absolute beast. I just want to pick up Travis Scott and throw him about 20 rows back.
I mean, it would go viral. That's something I would say for that. Definitely. Absolutely would go viral. Sid says Sami Callihan versus Mance Warner barbed wire massacre match was violent on TNA Unbreakable last Thursday. It bloody well was. Do you know what? I haven't seen the full match, but I saw a clip, and it might be one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in pro wrestling. Mance Warner, his tongue actually stapled to a table, and he lifted himself up with the table and his tongue as well. It's as vile as it sounds. It's awful. I don't wince much at wrestling. That got me a little bit in the feels. I'm not going to lie.
That's the first I've even heard about it. I've not even, like, it's been over like a week and I haven't seen nothing about it. Like, I'm sure it'd be up on their YouTube. And one they probably couldn't because of the excessive violence. This might have to be what I go and search out. It sounds horrible, but it's kind of a case of like you have to see it to believe it.
Oh, I saw it on TikTok. It's available there somewhere. If you search
I'll type it later.
TikTok, you might just find it. Will Cody turn heel? Maybe one day.
Look, I mean, ultimately, I said the other day that when he beats John Cena for that title, because that's probably the narrative they're going to go with, that cements him as top babyface. I wouldn't see him turning heel.
I don't personally, not in the foreseeable future anyway. That's what I would say. We'll have to wait and see what will happen further down the line. But I don't think Cody's story is heel just yet.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, he almost has to be like an anti-hero, like a Punisher, like for Marvel comic reference. Like, he has to be doing the good thing, but he's still a bad guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that would fit the narrative for Cody as well. He's quite a politician after all. Gamer Channel says we don't need Cody to turn heel. He's not a fan of Cody. Technically, doesn't see a bit of a heel for Gamer Channel. Maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Well, Gamer Channel is the heel.
I'm sure not. It's good to have you, Gamer Channel, by the way. Hope you're well. Rock played so many characters. He don't know who he is anymore. I agree with this 100%.
I'll say it again. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You only watch The Rock's movies because The Rock is in them. It's very rarely. There's maybe like 3 films in his entire catalog that you will watch. That if The Rock wasn't in, you'd still watch. Everything else you only watch because he's in it.
True story. And to be fair, with his recent appearance on WWE TV, he's turned more times than the Big Show has, and that's saying something. Paul says, did you see the picture of Triple H's awful Hall of Fame statue? Absolutely.
Oh my God. I sent you the image and I was like, what the hell is this? And then I sent you a link to a video where the guy's like just mocking it, and it was so funny. It's horrific. Even Triple H was mocking it.
If you want to see something more horrific than a man's tongue being stapled to a table, him trying to lift it in a barbed wire massacre match, check out Triple H's Hall of Fame statue.
It's the eyes. It's the eyes. They look like they're trying to eat your soul.
I mean, to be fair, The Rock wanted Cody's soul. I mean, if you put that Triple H in front of Cody, he might have given in. He might have done. Roy says, about NXT, you were happy that Hank and Tank won the NXT tag team titles. Is the best tag team match I've seen in a long time, says Roy. It was a very good tag team match.
Couldn't lose with whoever won that. I was going to be happy either way. But yeah, like second best match on the card and one of the best matches of the weekend at WrestleMania. Like just fantastic. Loved it.
Yeah, it was freaking awesome. I was really happy to see Hank and Tank win it as well. They felt like they really had a good story going into NXT Stand and Deliver. So just to see the payoff, it really, really worked. I hope for them now the fallout after Stand Deliver will be good. But they have a tag team title events next week on NXT against Briggs and I forget his name. Bless him. From
I always forget his name as well. Yeah, I always forget it as well.
They'll be going for it one more time before he goes back to Japan. Reese in the house for you for joining us, Reese. I love this question, by the way. What about Alistair Black carrying Kross and then forming a new House of Black? And do you think any other members joining? I love this question.
Scarlett, obviously.
Yeah, Scarlett would be there. Yeah, would definitely work.
Wow. Why? Dude, that's honestly, that's really good. I would really like to see that. If anything, as much as I'd want to see Black back, I'd still have Kross as the leader because Kross's promos are phenomenal.
But then at the same time, maybe there's some Kross influence in that with Alistair Black. I don't know. Maybe Alistair Black has the message, but he has Kross do presentation of it.
Yeah,
maybe. It's the riddles, the narratives.
That sounds. I'd love that, man.
It sounds like a dream combination. Do you know what we say about first feud should be against? First thing he should do is he should team with Cameron Kross and then perhaps feud against a returning White Six.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
That could work pretty well. I like that, Reese. You've got us thinking. And to be fair, other people could join. There's quite a lot of people not doing a lot on WWE right now. But yeah, I almost don't want to ruin that combination with just throwing a random name in there. I'd want to research that a little bit before throwing more names in there. I really like that combo.
I mean, if anything, I'd throw someone in from NXT, someone like almost mid-card established that could fit into that. Eddie Thorpe? Give Eddie Thorpe something?
Could work. That could work. Yeah. Because he's a bit of a lost soul. Speaking of souls, he could do with landing on his feet somewhere. That could work pretty well. Yeah, I'm liking that, Reese. You really sold me in that idea. Just reading that, almost can't even give you a good answer. I like it that much. Roy says, "What did you think of Stacks' turn on Tony D'Angelo? It was coming, wasn't it? It had been coming for a while, and I tell you what I didn't see coming was Luca. Poor Luca on NXT this past week. Meets Stacks in the desert. Realized it was a bit of a mistake.
Dude, it was great. I loved it. Like, just the fact that they went out to some desert randomly somewhere in Nevada and just filmed it. It was phenomenal. I loved it, man. And do you know what I mean? I was like, oh yeah, he's going to try and recruit him to get him on his side. No. I'm just going to stick you in the boot of a car for the next week.
I want to see him look really beardly and dirty and just really sell that he's actually been stuck in the boot for a week. But
talking of beards, have you seen Ciampa?
No.
He shaved his beard. I don't like it. He's gone clean shaven and I don't like it.
Did he do a DIY?
Yeah, but possibly. But like, it doesn't even look like him. Like I saw it the other day, and like you can see like the bones in his jaw, and I'm like, what's going on here? Why has he shaved his beard? I'm gonna have to try and find a picture. Oh, there we go. He's got like a little stubble goatee thing.
Oi, yeah. I mean, wow, goodness.
Do not like it, mate. Grow the beard back. That was one of his distinguishing features. No, don't like it.
Do you reckon he's going to get back to the lawyer gimmick he had in 2005 with The Undertaker on SmackDown?
Please, God, no. Because at this point, you might as well bring Joe Hendry in as whatever his role was.
He was a lawyer for
when he was a lawyer. Yeah, bring him in as lawyers. Make them the new IRS tag team.
I mean, actually, to be fair, like him, Rusev and Lana had a picture apparently together at WrestleMania weekend at like a wrestling event thing. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Really? They got reunited again for a picture. That's quite fun.
That's fun.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you, since the fact you mentioned Ciampa, DIY, Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, TLC, the tag team titles tomorrow. Now, forget it needed to be on WrestleMania. We all know that at this point, but it's not going to be. It's going to be on SmackDown. But I'm gonna need an NXT prediction.
Street Profits retain. I think they're doing a fantastic job as heels at the minute. Who's in it? Because it's them, DIY, and is it Pretty Deadly as well?
No, it's just the 3 teams, just Motor City Machine Guns, DIY.
Oh, no, that's who it was. I didn't know. I forgot who the third team was. It's Motor City Machine Guns. Yeah, I think Profits retain because ultimately I think Pretty Deadly are going to win those titles off of them.
Oh, interesting. I like that bold prediction there. Yeah, I think the Profits will retain as well. It's going to be interesting to see what goes on.
Good,
I think eventually this story now finally finishes, but the SmackDown tag team division has been quite hot over the last sort of few months. I think it's criminal they were not on the WrestleMania card, but it's
if
what
anything,
it is, unfortunately.
It should have been on SmackDown last week. Like I said before, make the Raw and SmackDown either side of WrestleMania SmackDown, WrestleMania Raw, and just the matches that don't get on the WrestleMania card should be on these shows. Instead, we get just jobber matches where like we know who's going to win, and we get promos where we're like that normally end up telling us who's going to win at Mania. These kind of matches should be on those shows.
Yeah, I would have preferred it on that show. I know they had a Stand and Deliver ladder match, but I just thought to myself, like, well, it's still within a week of each other anyway. It would not have taken away with it being last week. So I agree with you personally, but that is what it is. Sid asks, what do you think of WWE buying Triple A? I think it's the start, personally. I think they're going to be buying a few more territories as things go on. I just hope it doesn't become NXT Mexico. That's what I don't want to happen. I want it to remain having its legacy and history and tradition, which, I mean, Triple H does like a tradition, so hopefully it does remain Triple R. But I would keep an eye out for Noah. We've mentioned about a European promotion they might go for to have a European base as well. And as I said previously, I think TNA is someone they're going to buy in the next year or two.
Yeah, it just annoys me because they bought 3 British wrestling promotions before COVID, and then they got rid of NXT UK, and it's like you already had, do you know what I mean, the whole system in place, and then just got rid of it. So, do you know what I mean? They probably could end up buying another one just because you know it's WWE and they'll have to throw their money around.
I suppose if they can't buy like a Rev Pro, which is probably the biggest UK one there is, maybe it just makes sense for them just to have NXT Europe.
It would make sense, and it just gives them an excuse then to tour around Europe with NXT. Like, bring back the takeovers, man. Like, I'm so gutted I never got to go to Takeover London, and they never came back with NXT since. And I'm like, that's just Black and Gold era was screaming for another UK show, and we just never got one.
Yeah, it's a shame, but hopefully it will happen again at some point in the future. But obviously, with the UK,
I was going to say, I was just going to on promotions. I know Gunter has a wrestling promotion. Well, I very much doubt he'd sell that. But I'm just trying to think.
Yeah,
I don't, unfortunately.
You never know. And one thing's for sure, though, I wouldn't be surprised to see Worlds Collide become a thing that's quite common, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a official WWE World Cup either, where they actually have wrestlers from all promotions wrestling each other.
Not just USA.
Not just USA, yeah. Not just Shane McMahon being the best in the world. The nightmares. All the nightmares. Why would they do that to us? Johnny says, I feel like Rusev should have went and made himself into a bigger star than the Rusev character. He should have did what Drew McIntyre did. You think he came back and he was a one-man band gimmick. I mean, the thing is, Rusev has clearly improved his look since being away from WWE. Obviously,
physically,
I really enjoyed Miro for the first half of his tenure in AEW, let's say. When he was the Redeemer and he was the TNT champion, I really enjoyed that character. I'd like to see that version of Rusev in WWE, but seeing the return, like you said, they're being plastered to destroying a tag team, it didn't fill you with the most hope that he's going to be propelled to a top storyline. It just made you feel a little bit like, well, Rusev is just back and they're going to slowly look to build him up again.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's exactly the same booking the way he come up. Like, they brought him up, and he's almost like Do you remember how Brock Lesnar came in and he wanted to work with Spike Dudley and someone else? He just wanted to squash some small guys to give himself some momentum and make himself look impressive. And this is kind of the same thing. You've got Akira Tozawa, who's essentially a rag doll compared to Rusev and can throw him around the ring all he wants. But then if you put him with Otis, who's a heavy set guy, 350 odd pounds, and if Rusev can physically dominate him, it's a clever way to bring him back because it shows that he can literally beat up anyone, and the fact that he took on a tag team at the same time and did it, I was just ultimately worried that he would be in the tag team division.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can see why you would have those fears because obviously he hasn't revealed yet. We never know. He might have a tag team partner waiting in the wings somewhere for us in a week or two. You never know. Maybe that could be the
Who was his old tag team partner that used to do the mic work? That was the commentary now for TNA.
Aiden English, Matthew
English.
Raybolt,
English back, yeah,
Rusev Day. Yeah, I would love to see that. That would be quite fun. But obviously, yeah, if you had the comparisons of Rusev and Drew McIntyre, obviously what he did when he was away from WWE, it's two very different paths to come back to WWE.
Yeah, Drew's just blessed because he left WWE when there was multiple promotions for him to go around and absolutely dominate. Whereas Rusev left WWE and there was kind of AEW or New Japan really that were kind of top shows. Like I think if he'd have gone New Japan, I think he would have fared so much better.
Yeah, I would think so as well at this point. Johnny goes on to say that AEW might as well sell to WWE at this part. For me, I mean, I don't think that will ever happen. I mean, Tony Khan's he's got the pockets to keep it going. And obviously, everyone makes the faults of the WWE buying Triple R, but let's not forget AEW started this. They bought Ring of Honor, so like there is perhaps maybe a placement of two markets. But of course, when you compare them, AEW, of course, I know we're in the ballpark of WWE right now, but they're strong enough to stand on their own still.
Yeah. I think they just need to not be as infused or overtly confident in ticket sales that they can do, because I'm pretty sure All In Texas hasn't done particularly well in terms of ticket sales. And I think that they need to stop doing that because ultimately they're embarrassing themselves by not selling out these shows. So that's one thing to do. Just stick to like very large arenas like O2 here, where they're doing Forbidden Door in August, I believe, is like 26,000. That'll probably sell out because it's an indoor arena. It's in an ideal travel position. That'll probably do really well. But just stop booking stadiums, man, because you did the All In at Wembley and it showed you couldn't sell it out. So why did you carry on doing it?
But the thing is, though, the company that Young did get at least 70 odd thousand. They quoted 80, but 70 odd thousand, and then they got 50,000 the next year. So I mean, to get even that in such a young company is a great thing, but they haven't done that stateside yet, and that's something that'll be interesting to see. Like you say, it's not panning out that way at the moment. I would be surprised if they do sell out for All In this year. Being biased, I think they should have brought it back to the UK and would make Will Ospreay the champion in England rather than do it in the States. But that's just my.
What do you think they're doing at Forbidden Door?
Maybe could be the placement.
Go buy a ticket.
Maybe it's gonna be Hangman. I'll be honest. I'm 3 weeks behind AEW. I've got no idea what's going on. I'm hoping to catch up tomorrow or on the weekend, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah,
someone is a new champion over there. I'll put it that way.
Oh, really? There you go.
I won't tell you who, but
no, I see I'm well out of the loop, so I best come away from that. Reese suggesting that Fraxium could be the other one that could join Black and Kross. I'm not as much of a fan of Fraxium being part of it, but I still like the idea of Black, Kross, and Scarlet.
You need dark characters, man. Like, you could also essentially take anyone out of the culling and put them in there. Like, you need someone whose current portrayal is dark and sinister and brooding, and like Fraxium are just two goofballs that can't get on the same page sometimes, that just end up being a really good tag team. And it's the character work. Like, as much as it would be so much fun to see Fraxium in a faction like that, it's the character work. And if you're trying to take Nathan Frazier seriously, he's such a goofball, it'd be impossible.
You've nailed that perfectly on the head there, and I totally agree. But Sean Spears would be someone, because I'm not the biggest Sean Spears fan. But I think he would fit really, really well in that because I do really enjoy the work he's done with the culling in NXT. So, yeah, I think that's certainly a wise suggestion there, certainly indeed.
Yeah.
NXT, I think we're going to wrap it up there, my friend. But I want to say a massive thank you to you as always for being a part of this Q&A. I want to say
Always a
thank
pleasure.
you as well to everyone that's been watching. A lot of people tuned in for this one. It's been great to see. If you've all enjoyed it, please
A lot of
consider
new faces.
the like button. Subscribe as well if you're news to the channel. It's great to see Johnny is one of those that subscribed, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you all in future Q&As. There'll be more videos hopefully dropping over the next few days, so keep an eye out for Backlash match card predicted coming for you. That should be hopefully dropping before SmackDown tomorrow. Keep an eye out for the shorts as well. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram, SCW The Wrestling Channel. And also, we both have accounts on TikTok as well. SCW The Wrestling Channel for me, NXT for the man to, well, he's to my left, but he's to your right. Like I say, big thank you to everyone watching. Look after yourselves and each other. And hey, we'll see you for the next video. And if you haven't seen enough of SCW for one night, go and check out our WrestleMania 41 review, which is available right now. Take care. See you next time.